Hello YouTube fans, back again. And now I thought I'd do something different than what I normally do. I thought I'd do an authority film. This is one you very rarely see on DVD, but was popular on the golden days of video. That being Tat's Eyes. And I'm surprised this isn't on DVD a lot. I am surprised, because it's a good one. By Stephen King, Tat's Eyes. It has a lot of well-known actors. You've got James Wood, you have a very young Drew Barrymore, and you have a lot of other well-known actors or actresses in the lead. Now, Stephen King, as we know, is another book writer, and he's been doing books, for years and years, even before I was ever born. And at the time, he did these sort of little stories that couldn't have a lot of room to make a film. So at the time is what I think. I think that Stephen King looked at it and he thought, you know what, I can't make these into feature films, but I'll make a authority film. So it was three stories, basically, three stories in one, and that's Tat's Eyes. Now you start off with a little chat running around, and you've got a big daft dog trying to chase it, and I like it because, in my eyes, it's a love letter to two of Stephen King's books. You've got Judo, the big dog itself, chasing the tat, and you have a car, which you might remember in the movie, if you ever seen the film, Tisty. You do get another love letter to Stephen King a lot in Tat's Eyes. There's a scene later on in the film where they're watching a film, which would later be The Dead Zone, done by Stephen King. And there's a bit in it where someone's reading a book. What book is it? My Pet Cemetery. So there's a lot of love letters to Stephen King there, which I did notice. And the other thing I like about the film is it is a definitely made film in the fact that the chat is the main character. It's not a man, it's not a woman, it's not a lad or a young lady. It's a fucking animal. It's a pussy tat, a meow meow, a pussy, and not in a dirty way. So the tat is the main character, and I like that. I think it's very clever. So let's get on with the background story. The tat ran away and it got lost, and long behold, the first story I would say is one that will probably put you off if you're wanting to quit smoking, if you're a smoker, and you're one what wants to quit smoking. This is a film that would probably make you want to quit smoking, then puts a fear on you. It's one with James Woods. It's not a good story, this one, because he's a guy who wants to give up smoking, right? And he goes to this place, place that helps you give up smoking. And basically, this guy threatens him. He says, if you don't quit smoking, we're going to put your wife in an electric room and have a dance about, or we're going to do this and do that. And basically puts a fear on him. And there's a few things I like about Tat's Eyes, because not only do you do that, the originally, they were going to have the song by the Peace. And if anyone wants me to know what that is, think of any place you go, any place you see. That song. It's so sad to say Sting and the member of Peace couldn't get to sing the song, but they do have an artist sing to it. And it's like I said, the first one puts a fear on smoking. What the guy does is terrible. He gets the guy's wife, has a hopping about in an electric room, and basically threatens him. And he says, next time you do it, it'll be a little kid. You do get Drew Barrymore, who does make a disappearance in that scene, who basically she is one of the main characters, who funny enough plays two roles in it. She plays James Woods' daughter with a very funny looking wig, and she plays another little girl. So you do get a lot in it. So yeah, the first one, I also remember the twist in it where he threatens him, and he says that if you don't take these tablets, what are going to help you lose weight, this couple of months after, we'll cut your little wife's finger off. At first, the guy thinks it's a joke, James Woods, and he's laughing his backside off. And he's having a dinner party, and he sees his other guy who's obviously wanting to quit smoking, and he sees his wife, his mate's wife, that is, long but old. She has a middle finger cut off. So it's definitely one that definitely makes you want to quit smoking, that story. The second story ain't really that bad. And all the second one, This is one where, even though I don't like remakes, and you know what I think about remakes, don't despise remakes, this is one I will take my hat off and say I'd love this to be a feature film. If you get good actors and a good director, I would love this to be a frigging feature film. I love it to be a feature film, because the second story basically is a guy, he's a bit of a gambler, and basically he's got money off these sort of like dancers, I would say. They were dancers, and he's took money off them, and he's nicked the guy's woman, who's the head of the dance. Now, these are people that if you steal money off them and you steal something, do expect to see a horse's head in your bed. So he's on the run, and they get him, and so on. And the guy says, "I'll make a proposition with you. You can have the money, and you can have my wife, and so on. But if you, we can let you out. But if you do, we're going to set you up for pushing drugs." So they set him up basically. The only one way we won't set you up is if you do this deal. And they have the poor guy walking on a heads. They literally have this poor bastard walking on the heads of a sky-high building. So he's on a sky-high building, trying to move his way onto a 5 heads of a building. Lucky enough, he does manage to outsmart him. I don't want to get too much into that, because if you've never seen Cat's Eyes, it does have a good twist to that at the end. That is a good one. And again, it has the tat in it, is the main character. Then you get the third story, the last story, where I would say this is more of an horror. The first 2 stories, I would say, yeah, there's a little bit of horror in the first one, but I would say it's more of a thriller. In the third one, it's definitely horror, because you get a little monster who's trying to suck the life out of a little girl, that again being a very long to Paramore. The tat, however, comes in, saves the day, and kills this evil little monster, which is basically a little troll. Now, I do know that they had some practical effects there. They had a bit of stop motion, and they also had a stuntman with a mask on, dressed up as the evil little monster, the little troll. So it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one, Cat's Eyes. Again, they did have animal rights in this, because this was the time when a lot of cruelty was getting laid off animals. I mean, there's the cannibal films, as we already know. There was a lot of cruelty done to animals. So in this, there's a lot of scenes where you see a pigeon getting kicked. You see General, the cat that is, getting mistreated, or being flung in that electric room in the first story. But because of animal rights, they had to explain that no, we didn't hurt no cats, no birds were being kicked, and no animals were being hurt. Because in the film, you actually think that there was harm done to animals, and they had to prove that no cruelty was done to animals. The film itself, like I say, was shot in 1985. Quite a good film. And what can I say? It's a good one, Cat's Eyes. It's a good one. It's a very incompetent film. Competent, I meant to say. And I do actually like General in it. I do know they did originally have about 5 or 6 cats to play the role of General. So you don't see one pussy. Meow meow, that is, not the dirty type. You do see about 3 to 4 or 5 different chats for the film, Cat's Eyes. So for an authority film, it's not a bad one. I do actually like it. My favourite story, like I say, is the one on the leads. I do actually like that, and I don't really want to give that much away, but if you've ever seen Cat's Eyes and you've never seen it, I would say check the second story out. The second one is brilliant. I said it, they should make a fucking feature film of that. And I do actually like the song Every Breath You Take. Now, Tainted, it's not sang by Peace. It's not sang by Queen, it's not sang by Sting. They had to use a different cover album because they didn't have the rights to use Peace's song or have the rights to use Sting's voice. But I don't think it's a bad one. You got the guys down the fetting the James Woods not to smoke, and it's funny really, he's dressed up with a white costume on, looking like Elvis, you know, Elvis back in the 70s, singing the song Every Breath You Take. But again, Cat's Eyes, it's an apology story, it's got 3 stories, and I like the fact you've got a cat in it. There's bits of me, remember when I reviewed another Stephen King film, that being Feet Walkers. I always thought they should have had the tat, what was used in Cat's Eyes, to be that character. what was used in Feet Walkers, and maybe have Drew Barrymore play that role. No, the old Drew Barrymore, but sad to say that never happened. I thought that would have been interesting. It's my idea. But again, as I was saying, that's Cat's Eyes back in '85. If you're into authority films, that's a good one. If you can ever find it on DVD, please let me know. Because I remember the golden days of video seeing that, and it was on Sky a lot back in its heyday. But yeah, that's Cat's Eyes, an authority film back in '85, done by Stephen King. Check it out if you can ever find it. And because I like it that much, I'm going to give it a 3-star rating, as well as a 4-1 for general, because I like the little chat. It's like a nice type of pussy. Into then, I'll see you later. Meow meow.